The Shandys are behind you. We're invested. Let us know what happens. Let us know how we can help.
What's funny is by the time this Q&A comes out, she probably will lost interest and won't even listen to it.
Dear Shandy. Welcome back to Dear Shandy, listeners. Hello, Andy.
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm doing okay.
Only okay?
Yes, exactly okay.
Okay.
Maybe even below okay.
Okay. But answering our Shandy's cues will certainly make you better than okay.
It will.
It always does.
Yeah, Schadenfreude. Good for the soul.
By the way, this is Q&A 51.
51?
Yeah. I forgot to mention when we recorded 50 that it was 50. I was mad at myself.
So let's celebrate 50 now because we haven't done 51 yet.
What do you mean?
So we're celebrating 50 because 50 is complete.
Okay.
So this is the celebration of 50.
In what way can we celebrate?
Want to sing a Disney song?
Oh, just on the spot like this?
Yeah, any Disney song. Just pick one. I'll know the words.
Okay. All right. Okay. You think the only people who are people
are people that you would like to meet.
But if you walked the footsteps of a stranger,
then you would find out that you are rather neat.
That's next on your hit list, Andy, is Pocahontas.
Oh, is it Pocahontas?
Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds like a good one.
Yeah.
Why haven't I seen that?
It's a classic. Colors of the Wind.
Let's watch that.
I'm down.
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
How many good songs are in it?
Great songs in Pocahontas.
Really?
Yeah. There's like 3 or 4 really solid ones.
Are they like, I will show you the,
Nothing is quite, I can show you the world.
Yeah,
Nothing is quite at that. I mean, that's like one of the best Disney songs of all time. There's
one of the greatest songs of all time, period.
But there are some great ones in Pocahontas. Better than average.
What do you say the second best Disney song ever is after I Can Show You the World? Is that what it's called? I Can Show You the World?
It's called A Whole New World.
Oh, right. Whole New World.
God, it's tough. Second best?
Yeah.
I think Pocahontas gives it a run for its money. Colors of the Wind is a really, really good song.
What about Lion King? The Lion King, I think, has one that's the second best. How does it go?
I mean, some people might say, "Can You Feel the Love Tonight?" That's the Elton John one. But to me, that's not up there.
No. That's more of a pop song. It feels poppy.
It was like a top 40 song, you know?
Yeah. That never felt like a Disney song to me. It felt like a pop song that like they co-opted in Disney.
Yeah, to be honest, Lion King really had I Just Can't Wait to Be King. Oh, Scar's song is really good in that too. There's some good villain songs. Also in Pocahontas, the villain song's really good too.
What about that?
It's mine, boys, mine, every mountain, let's dig. Boys, dig till you drop, grab a pick. Boys, quick, boys, shove in a shovel, uncover those lovely pebbles that sparkle and shine. It's gold and it's mine, mine, mine.
Wow, you went so much further with that than I expected.
Okay, this Q&A is a disaster. Shall we get answering our listeners' cues?
Fine.
All right, this first question is from Love Amnesia. Dear Shandy, I hope you are doing well. I wanted to thank you for answering all our Shandy's questions with thoughtful answers. You've answered a question of mine before, and I'm hoping lightning strikes twice because I could sure use the help. I, 31, have been seeing this guy, 31, on and off for about a year. We've been long distance for most of it, with us visiting each other on a monthly basis. We live about 3 hours from each other on the West Coast and take turns driving. The longest stretch was about 3 months, where he got the seasonal blues and couldn't make a plan to come see me and didn't want to drive up since it was his turn. He recently came down for a quick visit this past week, and in the heat of a sexual moment, I told him I loved him. I'd been thinking about it for a while and wanted to say it so I could be upfront. He acknowledged it, said it was heavy, and didn't say anything back. When we were sleeping a little while later, we were cuddling, and he said, I love you. I woke up, surprised, and asked him what, to be sure I had heard right. He said, I love you again, and I said it back. The next day, I was basking in the feeling of having crossed this milestone and was very hopeful for the future. Later that night, we were discussing relationship-oriented things, and I told him it meant a lot to me that we had used the word love with each other. He said he didn't remember saying it, and I told him he said it while we were cuddling in sleep. He said that's happened to him before when he feels warm and fuzzy, and he must have said it because he felt it in the moment. I asked him if he did love me, and he said he has to think about it because he wasn't in a place to have that conversation. It's been a couple of days where we've texted each other updates on and off. He's back in his city dealing with family issues and dog issues, so he's been busy. He has an avoidant attachment style and has been getting out of a long-term relationship right before meeting me. Is this relationship doomed?
Yes.
Am I a rebound? Does he not love me and will never get there? Is this normal for a guy? If I was a person he was actually in love with, would any of the barriers matter? Are these real barriers, or am I being a doormat? This is the first time I've said I love you to a person, and it's because I do feel it. He's very kind, generous. We make each other laugh. We have really good physical chemistry. We take care of each other, and it feels really safe and right to be with him. But I don't know if it's okay that he didn't say I love you back or said it and took it back. Please help. I need either a kick in the pants to not see him and reach out, or I need reassurance that this is worth fighting for. Thank you. Love, Amnesia. I have a lot of thoughts and I'm not really sure where to begin. I'm almost a little speechless, honestly. Like I said it. I must have said it because I felt it in the moment, but I don't remember saying it. So he was like, sleep talking? He doesn't remember saying it. And then when she's like, well, is that how you feel? He's like, oh, I can't have this conversation right now. Like, okay, I will link out our episode with Eli Harwood, Attachment Nerd, because we talk a lot about attachment stuff. I mean, that is an unbelievable episode. If anyone has missed that one, I feel like even if you're not into hot topics, you should listen to that episode.
Oh, absolutely.
Because it's impossible.
Guest.
Yeah, impossible to not learn something from that episode. And so I'm trying to come at this like from a compassionate lens where, okay, if he is avoidant, that doesn't necessarily mean he's not boyfriend material or that he doesn't care about her and all these things. But something that really stands out to me about this question, it was early on, she talked about how they live 3 hours from each other. They take turns driving, and yet they only see each other on a monthly basis.
That's all I needed to know. I didn't need to know the rest of the question. When I heard that, I knew what this was.
The longest stretch without seeing each other was 3 months.
Because he had seasonal blues. You know what I do when I have seasonal blues?
What?
I want to see someone that I really love.
Yeah.
Or care about.
Yeah, someone to make you feel better. Maybe he is depressive or something.
It doesn't matter.
He couldn't make a plan to come see her and didn't want to drive up since it was his turn. 3 months.
3 hours?
3-hour drive. Like, that is really alarming.
Not even a 3-hour flight.
Yeah.
A 3-hour drive.
I think sex is more of a factor in this relationship than
You
she's.
think?
Okay. So from your perspective, this is a sex relationship.
100%.
Yeah. She mentions, in her list of things about him that she loves, one of the things is physical chemistry. They have amazing physical chemistry. And even when they are spending time together, she says in the heat of a sexual moment, what would happen if one of them drove 3 hours to see the other and there was no sex? What would this relationship be? I honestly think it's a huge factor.
I don't think that's the test that needs to be executed here. I think what she needs to do is pull back big time.
Okay.
This is not happening.
Yeah, I wonder if he would behave differently if he felt like he could lose her. And because right now he's not acting like he cares that much about her. I'm sorry. For him, it's so hurtful. This is what gets me about that exchange. If you say it, you feel it in the moment and you say it, and you're not 100% sure that you're going to feel it the next day, don't say it. It hurts so much worse for him to say it and then take it back. And then when she asks him how he feels, he's like, I have to think about it. That hurts so much worse, so much more than if he just never said it at all.
It's super sloppy and selfish.
Yes, so selfish. Like, he's not thinking about her as a human being.
Yeah, he wanted to feel in that moment what it would feel like to say, I love you to this person.
Yes.
In sort of the heat of physical and, the afterglow of physical passion.
Yes.
He's like, oh, I feel like in this 1 minute, I feel like love is a word I could say.
Yeah.
And then a minute later, he's like, forget about that.
That is, to me, a very, very bad personality trait, is the type of person that's like, well, it felt right in the moment, so I just did it. It's like, that's their defense. It's like, I meant it when I said it.
If it's repetitive, I'll give you a pass. You can do it once and then you learn your lesson. Yeah. All I'm saying is, yes, it's not a good behavioral
He's 31.
trait.
He's not 21. Also, she's not that experienced in relationships. Right. She said this is the first time she's ever said I love you to someone. So I feel like her barometer for what normal is, it doesn't exist yet, really.
But this is the thing. This is one of those power dynamic questions, which I hate. It makes me feel icky.
Yeah.
Because all the power has been given to this guy. She has no power, to the point where she had to have a discussion after this I love you, this false start I love you, about the fact that they said I love you, about the nature of that. Like the fact that she's like, oh, we did it. We said I love you. Let's talk about that. Like she's climbing up this steep, slippery hill and he's just sitting at the top having a banana. There's nothing going. She has not 1 ounce of power in this relationship. He has seasonal blues. 3 months, no visit. 3 hour drive.
Yeah, I'm impressed.
I've driven 3 hours to get milk.
I gotta say, I'm impressed with her for not having gone to him in that 3 month period.
Yeah.
You're like, it was his.
She had restraint.
Yeah, it was his turn, and she didn't give in. I have to give props.
She gets props for that. You're absolutely right.
Yeah,
but now she's got to get props for pulling back completely on this, because this is not a workable situation.
You're right. The power imbalance is it. I can smell it. It's emanating off this email.
3 hours. You know what a 3 hour drive is? That's a relationship where at the very least you see each other every week.
Yeah.
At least once a week. Every weekend.
Or every other week.
It depends what the nature of the relationship is. If it's casual and you both understand it's casual, then every other week is fine. And then maybe even once a month is fine. But if it's anything more than casual, you're going to want to see each other. You're going to wait for the weekend. You're like, oh, I can't wait. Maybe once in a while you'll have a weekend where you're like, oh, it's a girl's weekend, or it's a guy's weekend, or I have to see family.
Or it's a busy weekend.
My mother's sick, or whatever. Yeah. Something's going on, or I got a work
family
thing.
Issues and dog issues.
Yeah, or I'm sick, family or dog issues. Yeah, the guy's got so many family and dog issues. But the fact that they aren't seeing each other every weekend, or on average every weekend with the 3 hour drive, right there. I don't need to hear anything more. This is not a real relationship. He does not care deeply about her in any way. And even when in the heat of chemical, explosion, he felt the need to say, I love you. He has to backtrack on that and say, oh, no. I was sleep talking.
Yeah.
That was a bad call.
That's very concerning.
Come on,
the fact that he would take that from her.
Oh, come on. This is no.
Yeah.
No. I say no.
Okay, love amnesia. Good luck. I do think you're going to need it, because this is a tough thing to do.
Yeah.
To pull back from something that's not overtly over, but just ask yourself if your forever partner is someone who would say, I love you in the moment, and then quite literally take it back.
That's ridiculous.
Like, is that your person, someone who would do that?
But you know what it also is? It's extremely immature. This guy's super immature.
Very immature. Okay. All right. Good luck. All right, this next question is from C. Dear Shandy, I love your show. My favorite episodes are the Q&As, even though I was originally drawn in by your wonderful Bachelor recaps. Ooh, the bait worked. Yeah. You and Andy always give such wise and kind advice. Thank you, C. I have an Am I the Asshole question. I, 28 female, have been seeing M, 43 male, on and off over the past year. We live in a major city in Southern California and met through our mutual hobby. Now to the situation. Am and I were texting, and he brought up the topic of love languages, specifically that words of affirmation must be one of his, whereas it is not one of mine. I was excited that he brought this up, though, since I'm intrigued by the topic of love languages, and I also like the reminder that we all have different preferences and needs in relationships. This conversation quickly took a turn, though, when he revealed that he was joking and thinks the invention of love languages is silly, cheesy, and not how things were, quote, back in his day. I said I thought they made sense and that we all have different styles and needs in relationships. He agreed with that, but said they weren't around 13 years ago when he left the US. He lived abroad for a while. This made me genuinely curious about when the Love Languages book was written. And since I was sitting at my work computer, I Googled it, and it turns out it was written in 1992.
Ah, back in his day.
I responded saying, quote, apparently the book was written before I was born, unquote. And I added a cute little shocked face emoji.
Nice.
Now, here's where I might really be the asshole. After that text, I immediately sent another text saying, whoops, didn't mean to fact check you, since I did something similar once before, and he totally took offense to it and abruptly ended things. However, that was a while ago, and I thought, moved past that, so I went for the joke. Needless to say, he didn't take it well. But it also seemed that he was still more offended by me Googling the book than the joke itself. He said that I felt the need to prove him wrong, whereas I felt and expressed that I was just genuinely interested and engaged in the conversation. I'm not really interested in seeing him anymore, not just because of this, but for other reasons as well, such as how I don't believe he sees me as an equal due to our age difference and our differing views on politics. That said, I would like to know for future relationships, am I the asshole for occasionally Googling something that we're discussing? I certainly don't do this often or out of malice. It truly is out of genuine interest, but I can see how it could be taken the wrong way. I look forward to your judgment. Kind regards, C.
Good. I will say this, that if your partner ever uses the phrase back in my day, it's a bad sign.
Okay.
Because I could do that to you. I don't back in the day you.
Yeah, you don't back in the day me.
There was a lot of back in the day too I could give you.
Yeah.
But I don't.
Oh yeah, and it's interesting, like I've dated guys younger than you who I felt more of an age difference with than you. Like you really make an effort not to do that.
Yeah.
You're right. Like what's kind of the point?
Yeah.
I find this guy, wow, we're having one of those Q&As where we're coming at the guy each time, but I really do stand by our opinion. Like it's always bespoke. Our opinion's always bespoke to each question. And this guy, I'm sorry, he's annoying.
So sensy.
Sensy.
He's a sensitive 90s guy, but back in his day, that's what they did.
Wait, if he's 43.
He's a 90s guy.
Oh, like his youth was.
He's a sensitive 90s guy.
Okay.
Although now I guess everyone's more sensitive than the 90s guys were sensitive. So
90s,
technically that term has no use anymore.
Well, when you say 90s guy, you mean his youth was in the 90s?
Yeah, he's like a guy who experienced his real youth in the 90s, right? 43?
Okay, but this guy was probably born in 81.
He was born in 81.
Yeah.
And in the 90s, he was like a teenager and getting into college and stuff. That's a 90s guy.
Are they known for being sensitive? Because this is ridiculous.
Sensitive 90s guy?
I would think that
Back
they were...
in my day, that was a term we used.
Okay. So, Andy, this is our first ad for Lola V. And I'm going to be honest. This is true. When Lola V first came across the Dear Shandy desk, I was like, I don't think so.
Oh, yeah, you did say that. In those exact words.
Yeah. I was like, they can send product. I'll try it. But I'm not interested in a new hairline. I'm just not interested. I will say part of me did have an eye on the fact that it's Jennifer Aniston's line of hair products. I mean, Jennifer Aniston is like the hair goddess. But I was like, no, I'm not in the market for more hair products. And then I used her stuff. And I was like, oh, crap. I just really, really love the Lola V line. And so here we are. We're advertising Lola V because I felt a difference. I saw a difference. What I love is how they marry hair care that performs with hair care that's actually good for you. Because oftentimes it's one or the other. Like something is going to nourish your hair, but your hair is just not going to look its best. But this line is unbelievable. This glossing detangler, first of all, the reviews are through the roof. But when I used this, I put it on, I was like, oh, man.
Well, I mean, do we have to talk about it? Just look at her hair. Do you like the way her hair looks right now? That's a Lola V hair.
This
right
is
there.
Lola V hair right now.
Yeah. The funny thing is you kept waking up and you're like, oh, damn it. My hair looks so good. I got to do this Lola V.
But truly, my hair smells so good. It looks good.
And Lola V forced us to do this by being this good.
Well, here's the thing. I think as women, we're inundated with hair care products and people selling us things for our hair. So I know how it feels to be inundated with a new hairline. And I'm like, how good can it be? And I really did fall in love with Jennifer Aniston's hairline. And this line, by the way, was inspired by her time on Friends. I mean, we all know she's famous for the Rachel.
I'll be there for you.
When the rain starts to fall,
I'll be there for you.
Is
that right?
Something like that.
So unlock beautifully behaved hair at lolavie.com.
Our Shandies get an exclusive 15% off your entire order when you use code Shandy at checkout.
That's 15% off your order at lolavie.com, promo code Shandy.
Note you can only use one promo code per order and discounts cannot be combined.
After your purchase, they'll ask where you heard about them.
Support Dear Shandy and tell them we sent you. Your hair will thank you.
Hello
Fresh
is
the
best
thing
in
our
refrigerator.
Ah, yay. That wasn't rehearsed, believe it or not.
Yeah. They're like, no way, impossible.
Okay, HelloFresh. Who hasn't heard of HelloFresh?
Every time we get one of these boxes, I feel like my life just got easier.
Yes, that's like a little bit of the pressure on living together and existing together was like,
Yeah.
I mean, early in our relationship, cooking meals, buying groceries, this was actually a point of contention for us, and HelloFresh solved this piece because every week we get a handful of meals delivered directly to our door. We're talking the ingredients to make said meals as well as the recipes. It goes and lives in the fridge, and when we're ready to eat, one of us cooks it. It's always delicious. It always hits the spot. We get to select them, and they have a huge selection of meals to choose from each week.
Over 50 recipes.
Yes, that's a lot. So we never get sick of them. And it's just so nice to have that one aspect of life taken care of in a time when I just feel like I'm juggling everything all the time.
But it's actually not one aspect of life. It actually removes several stressors. It removes the stress of going to the grocery store to shop. It removes the stress of thinking, what's for dinner? What do we eat tonight?
Oh,
it removes the stress of cooking. But really, you are cooking. You're cooking, but someone's there telling you how to cook.
Yes, they're holding your hand. It's
And it
nice.
also adds the bonus of learning how to cook.
Yes, we've said before that HelloFresh has been sort of accidental cooking classes for us, and it's totally true. I've learned how to cook so many things, how to make so many sauces.
You know what I did the other day? I made a balsamic reduction, a balsamic glaze. I would have no idea how to do that, but I did it. I didn't even think of how to do it. I was like, of course I know how to do this.
You did it from
scratch.
HelloFresh. Yeah.
Therefore, I know how to make balsamic glaze. Oh, and by the way, we forgot to mention, save a lot of money.
Oh, that too.
Oh, that thing. Grocery store is not what they used to be. You used to go to the grocery store. You buy like a bushel of broccoli for like 15 cents. Now it's like each head of broccoli is like $3. Who wants to pay $3 for a head of broccoli? No head of broccoli is worth $3.
Okay.
I don't love broccoli.
So go to HelloFresh.com/ShandyApps for free appetizers for life.
That's one appetizer per box while subscription's active.
That's free appetizers for life at HelloFresh.com/ShandyApps. That's Shandy APPS. So I think this guy has issues. Like, he can't be wrong.
Yeah.
The fact that she's just like, oh, contributing to the conversation. Oh, actually, the Love Languages book, it appears, was written in 1992. Not to fact check you, but just because you're the one who made it a thing. He's the one who insisted back in my day. It's like, then don't say that if you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I don't think she did anything wrong
No,
here.
she didn't do anything wrong. This is what I'll say. If this was an isolated incident, and she doesn't do this every day with him,
Yeah.
which then would be annoying.
Yes.
That would be super annoying. Even if she's right, it's still annoying to keep fact checking someone with Google all the time.
Totally.
But if this is an isolated incident, which she says it is, and I'm going to believe her, no, she didn't do anything wrong. And he belittled her by saying, you don't know what you're talking about. This wasn't around in my day.
It's so funny how he's saying that, not knowing what he's talking about. He's the one who doesn't know what he's talking about.
Right.
And I think this age difference can work, 28, 43.
Sure.
Like, I don't think it's insane. Like, we've seen bigger. I was going to say worse.
Watch out.
We've seen bigger. But it feels like she said, he doesn't see her as his equal.
Yeah.
It's like he wants to tell her what's up. And then she's like, well, actually, I just have Google at my fingertips. And you're wrong. And he can't deal with being incorrect.
Yeah.
And so then he kind of gaslights her.
Well, he punishes her with silence.
I don't even know if it's silence. It sounds like he comes out. Last time he broke up with her over it.
Right. And this time he just ignored her.
This is a man-child. I'm going to say it. This is a man-child.
Yeah.
The one who's talking, the one who doesn't know what he's talking about is him. And then when he's called out on it, he can't deal with it.
This is it's an easy one.
Okay, so C, in conclusion, you're not the asshole.
No.
As long as you're not doing it all the time, which it doesn't
if you
sound
do
like
it all
she
the
is.
time, you're an asshole.
Yeah, at that point, it's just sort of, it's like trying to be right for the sake of it, but doesn't even sound like her delivery was like, haha, I got you. It's more like, oh, actually, this was interesting until I didn't know this either. It was written in 92.
It's not confrontational.
Yes.
It's like, it's a work share.
Yeah, assuming she is delivering it in that way.
Right.
Which that's
Delivery
something that
is very important.
I'm sensitive to that. I have dated someone who was very like condescending when he would teach me something. And I've always loved that you can teach me something without it being condescending. It's usually just like, oh, well, actually, it's like, oh, let me explain this to you. It's really cool. You know what I mean? It's just so pure. It comes from a place of like, of knowledge and like, this is fascinating. This is why I know it, that kind of thing. And I don't know. I don't think it's a big deal. So many of us are Googling things as we're going. Like when we're watching a movie or a TV show or an interview on TV, you're half the time you're Googling something adjacent to what we're watching.
And I also think it's another thing of back in his day, you couldn't do that. So he's sensitive to it. He's like, you couldn't do that. I could lie all I want back in the day.
I'm sorry.
No one could fact check me.
He's 43 years old and living in today's society. He can also Google things.
Look, Google
back
is
in his
part
day,
of life.
like he's living. What's where has this guy been?
Yeah, right. Back in my day, I had a rotary phone.
Yeah, and even his resistance to the idea of love languages. Like, okay, you can be like, oh, that's cheesy, but like, it's okay. There are bigger fish to fry in this world than to spend your energy dissing love languages.
Yeah, very weak battle to pick.
Yeah. All right. See, good luck. I don't think you need it because it sounds like you've moved on, and rightfully so. Okay, so the next one I've chosen to put here because we were talking about age gaps.
Ooh, I like an age gap question.
The title is, Am I Just Being an Age Gap Hater? Dear Shandy, she wrote.
Oh, she did the music?
Well, she just put a lot of letters, extra letters that would suggest that there are notes put to them.
That's cute.
Hi, Charlene and Andy. I have been a long-time listener for a while now and love your caller and Q&A episodes. Your advice is always so well thought out, and I appreciate your takes, which is what led me to finally send in a question of my own. Thank you so much. Did I say who this is from? Oh, anonymous. I am 26 years old and live in a small town in Oregon. I am working on it, but there are times where I give my opinion too passionately, usually when it is something that involves my little sister who is 19. We laugh so much when we are around each other, and she is my best friend. About 2 months ago, she made a weird comment that the dress I bought her could be a new date dress. I thought it was odd considering she said just days before that she is done with dating for now and just wants to get a dog. I didn't think anything of it until later in the day when I saw that she was texting Elle, who is 34 years old. She was dating someone for a few months, talked for a year prior, and they had broken up only a week before we went shopping. Anyways, when I saw the text and asked, "You're texting Elle?" the mood shifted and was very awkward as I drove her home. I could not hold it in and had to ask why she was texting Elle and if they were dating. She told me that, quote, friends are allowed to text each other. But I know my sister, and before thinking about my words, I said, "He's 34, and proceeded to say that it was creepy and weird for him to be pursuing a 19-year-old. 2 days later, she posted a picture of them on Instagram with a big heart, which I know was to annoy me because she has never posted any other boyfriend. She has never left our small town or gone to college, and now just wants to stay home with kids because of her church group. I am not knocking being a stay-at-home mom because I would love to do that as well when it's time for kids, but I have a master's degree in my field and plenty of experience, so I have a backup plan if I choose to stay home. It worries me that she is dropping all her goals without a plan and only a year of work experience because of the group she is part of. They also pushed marriage quickly and told her that the other guy she was dating was going to be her husband. So basically, there is a lot of peer pressure in this group. Elle has been a part of this young adults group for 5 years longer than my sister, and he is the associate pastor at this church. I am very strong in my faith, and that will never change, but I am not naive to the fact that sometimes people in positions of power can use that negatively. He is very charismatic and everyone loves him, but I can't help but feel uncomfortable at how quickly they began dating and with the age gap. I haven't spoken with him face to face since they started dating and have only texted my sister a few times when we used to speak every day, so our relationship feels strained. But I don't really know how to navigate this when I feel so strongly. My question is, am I being way too overprotective and just being an age gap hater? My husband and I are 5 years apart and it feels completely different than 14 years, but maybe I am being hypocritical. I feel like I need to stand up for her because she is so young, but maybe I just need to keep out of her business instead. Thank you very much if you are still reading, and I appreciate any advice or perspective on this situation. Anonymous.
15 years.
I mean, it could be 14 depending on the time of year.
This is my policy about age gaps. If you are legally allowed to drink a beer, I will accept most age gaps.
Okay.
She is not. I do not accept this age gap. I also do not like the fact that he's in a position of power in the church group. I think it's weird and I think it's not good, and I'm not into it.
Here's the thing about age gaps is that so often there is some sort of power, something. Yeah. It could be money, it could be status, it could be fame. In this case, he has some sort of status. This is really tricky because on one hand, it's easy to be like, yeah, no, stand up. Your 19-year-old sister, like she needs a guide in this world that isn't this church group that's, leading her down this path or whatever. But it based on how it's already straining her relationship with her, it's more likely than not to just drive her away. Yeah. Not necessarily, but it's possible.
This is one of the unfortunate situations where you have to lay down your arms and just hope that the best thing happens. And the best thing here is that she finds another way of living than dating this guy. And look, this guy might be a fine guy.
No.
Probably not 100% fine.
Look, people with larger age gaps have gotten together and
it's not about the age gap. It's about how old she is.
Yes.
Because when a 15-year age gap is fine when you're 30 and 45 or when you're 40 and 55. Mm-hmm. Is a 15-year age gap okay when you're 14 and 29?
Yeah,
no, this is not okay either. She's wet behind the ears. He is also a powerful man in her circle.
Yes.
So she feels like, wow, look at me. I must be so special.
Yes.
And what I see happening here potentially is he's going to really hurt her in the end. That's what I see in the end happening.
Hurt her how?
Like leaving her. He's not going to see this through.
I feel like he could see this through and just like I can see this being seen all the way through.
Well, then that's it. That's
but
her
not
life.
in a
She's chosen her life. And then her sister has to sit back and deal with it. And that sucks.
I would rather the guy hurt her because then she learns a lot from the experience and then like goes and maybe lives some life
I understand.
that is being taken from her otherwise.
You got to go through the fire to get through this one. But I ideally I'd like her to make the choice and be like,
totally.
you know what? This is not a normal situation. I should back out and live my life as a 19-year-old.
Yeah.
But she's made these choices, and I think that, unfortunately, I think her sister has made her point clear, right?
I feel like she could make it a little more clear. Anonymous. I think this is what I think Anonymous should do, basically. I agree. She has to lay down her arms, and that's going to be one of the hardest things to do. Anonymous, I feel for you. Because it sounds like they were raised in a certain way. She wasn't specific about her sister's former plans, but she said she's just sort of throwing away her plans based on this group she's in. And because of Anonymous having gotten her master's degree and having all these plans, and they share the same faith, I wonder if she knows her sister better than any of these people do, So I'm going to assume that and think that the sister did have plans. So this is going to be brutal to lay down her arms. But I think that you could have one really serious sit-down conversation where you just tell her everything you've told us here, honestly, where you say, like, before you had dreams of doing this and you were interested in doing this. And I can't help but notice that with this friend group, I'm not judging you. Like, I just want to make sure that you know that you don't have to. Mm-hmm. That there's still other options, and this, just come at it from that loving place. And if she reacts poorly and is like, no, this is the way it is now, this is what I want, technically she's an adult. Like, you have to let people choose their own lives. And there are a lot of people who really just want to get married young and have kids, and especially with someone charismatic and powerful in their circles. So,
maybe this is the best thing that can happen to her. Who the hell knows?
Yeah, what you want isn't necessarily what someone else wants.
On the surface, without me knowing anything other than these basic forensic facts.
Yes.
This doesn't feel good to me.
No, it feels icky.
It feels bad for a 19-year-old to be going down this path. But again, I don't know. Some people have probably been in this exact same situation and lived amazingly happy lives, had big families, and had no regrets. As a sister, I think it's her duty to just say, listen, on the surface, it doesn't look great. I wouldn't advise this. But I'm going to let you do what you want to do because you're my sister and I love you. And that's it. That's what I think should happen here.
Yes.
And that's it.
That's my concern, is that from the sister's perspective, Anonymous is purely hating on the age.
Right.
You know, even by the title of the email, the Anonymous is self-conscious. She's like, am I just being an age gap hater? And I don't think it is. I think there's a lot more to this puzzle than just how old this guy is.
She can't drink a beer. She's not even close.
But my point being is like the power dynamic, her sister no longer following through on plans or what other things that she had intended to do.
Oh, wait, she's in Utah?
She said small town in Oregon.
Oh, Oregon? I think it might be 18. Yeah, so I guess she can drink a beer.
Is it really?
Yeah, but she can't rent a car and she can't drink a beer in New York.
A lot of people can't rent a car though. In some places, the age to rent a car is like 25.
Well, it's 25 almost everywhere.
Is it? It is 25.
Yeah, 25.
That blew my mind when I first learned that. But then at the same time, I'm like, that does make sense.
No, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. You own a fleet of cars you're renting out. You want a bunch of 19-year-olds
No,
driving
you're
them?
right. It's so true. Isn't that funny how you can associate a certain age with a certain level of maturity?
Yeah. At 19, you are biologically not mature yet.
Yeah.
You are not even close. Your frontal cortex stops maturing at like 25, I think.
Do you know what you're talking about?
I-
Someone's going to fact check
50,
you.
I 50% know what I'm talking about.
Okay. So if I were the previous question asker, I would now Google it.
Yeah. Go ahead. See what happens.
No, I prefer to let the Shandies do it for me. Okay, so Anonymous, I really firmly think you need to make clear to your sister that it's not just about the age gap, because I think that's how the sister sees it. And she's like, we're in love, who cares? Age is just a number. I guarantee you the sister has said at some point that age is just a number. But I think that your sister should know that A, you're coming from a place of deep love for her and wanting what's best for her, and B, you're not judging her or the guy, even though you might, quietly be judging him a bit, and I wouldn't blame you. But, it's more about the bigger picture, what this represents, what this could mean for her future.
And don't make it about the age gap, but you can make it about her age, which is totally fine.
Yeah,
I
but
think.
in my experience, telling a 19-year-old that
I know,
they're
you're
too
right.
young,
I know, but the
they think
19-year-old
they know,
thinks
but
they
they
know
don't.
everything.
Yeah, that's the hallmark of a 19-year-old.
19-year-olds.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do
So
about
wonderful and so stupid.
Okay, Anonymous, good luck. I definitely feel you need it. Laying down the arms is not easy. I think one really good conversation where you really say how you feel and it's not just about this guy's age. I really think that that's a red herring here.
Yeah.
People end up with people 15 years older. Like our age gap is not that much smaller than that.
But
We know people with way bigger.
19.
Well, that's key.
I don't have an issue with a 15-year age gap. I have an issue with a 15-year age gap with a 19-year-old.
Agreed. Okay.
On either way.
Okay, but I just don't want the focus to be the age gap because I really think it's about something broader.
But it's what we're doing is we're making believe it's not about the age gap.
Yeah. Well, I think the age gap is a major factor, but I don't think it's the whole pie.
It's 80% of the pie.
No, it's not.
It's everything except the crust.
Look, I find the age gap alarming at this
The
age.
only way I accept this is if he's a big movie star and she's an international model. Then it's totally normal.
He's Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, exactly. DiCaprio, Gigi Hadid. That's it.
Okay, Anonymous, good luck. I am not envious of your situation. I do think you're going to need it.
Yeah.
Stay strong.
Yeah. Use a butter knife, not a sword.
Yes. All right, this next question is from Confused. Dear Shandy, I love your podcast and I'm excited to write you. I have a friendship dilemma. Last year, I, 25 female, introduced two of my close friends to each other. Let's call them Sarah, 24 female, and Hannah, 27 female. Sarah and Hannah lived in the same city, and I felt they would get along. I was correct, and they are now good friends with each other. During that time, I also traveled more. I was experiencing a breakup with my primary in-person friend group in a new city. In addition to making new friends, I leaned on friends who lived elsewhere. I visited Sarah and Hannah twice. Sarah and Hannah are structured people who schedule everything in advance. When I visited them, they planned each day and sent me Google Calendar invites for every event. Ooh, that sounds amazing. This was welcomed as my goal was to explore. It was also expected as I know them to be this structured even during an average week. Since then, I have moved across the country and traveled for work and family. Additionally, Sarah and Hannah received career opportunities that relocated them to New York. At first, when I said I should visit New York before Hannah moves abroad this winter, I thought I certainly would. However, when I started looking at flights, I noticed I was not excited. I realized that after a hectic year, my goal for a personal vacation is to relax. I don't see New York as a relaxing vacation spot.
I agree.
Additionally, I have several good friends in New York, most of whom live far apart. Although I could limit who I see and what I do to make the trip relaxing, I would rather choose a destination more fundamentally aligned with my vacation goals and save the jam-packed big city trip for later. On the other hand, my partner and I are now considering visiting another smaller East Coast city. We live close to our hometowns now, and while we are happy with it, we don't want to stay forever. My partner likes the city and suspects I would, though I've never been. We plan to meet some of his family and have a trial period in the city to see how I feel. This seems both relaxing and justified. My question is, as New Yorkers, would you take it personally if a close friend told you they are no longer visiting because they want a relaxing vacation? What's the best way to approach a conversation like this? Additionally, am I the asshole for wanting to turn down this girls' trip while considering a trip with my partner? While my partner and I have a loving relationship, I value my own identity and support system. Thank you, Shandy. I look forward to hearing your insights. Confused.
Wow, what a conscientious friend.
It's so over the top conscientious.
Wow.
Confused. Do the trip you want.
Yeah.
And I gotta tell you something too about being a New Yorker. This is the thing about being a New Yorker, is that people visit all the time. People are in town all the time.
Inundated by visitors.
Yes. Like
it's a nexus of visiting.
it is. Yeah. Like it's actually, it can become
Stressful.
a little stressful when friends are visiting all the time.
For the visitee.
For the visitee?
Yeah, as opposed to the visitor.
Yeah, exactly. Like being the visitees in that situation.
Yeah, it always happens. Like this weekend coming up, I got 3 different people: a family, an old college friend, and I don't even remember the other person. I don't even remember. They're all coming this weekend, and they all say, "Hey, I'm coming this weekend. Let's set up a time." I'm like, I don't even know. I'm freaking out.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do.
It's too much. It's too much. Confused. Your friends, if they're real friends, are not going to care at all.
Not one iota.
It's almost...
They may be relieved.
Yes. If you truly knew how little they're going to care, you might be offended.
Yeah, they may care if you come. They may be like, oh, shit.
Yeah, you are, I think, overthinking this. Take the trip you want to take, make the vacation what you want it to be, test run the town that your partner, whatever. Like, this is such a no-brainer. There's a time and a place for a New York City, big city, like hectic trip. If you're not in the mood, it's not fun. Just don't do it. Yeah. And if your friends have a hard time with it, that's a different conversation. But I'm not even going there because I am 99.99999% sure that they do not care. Not that they don't care about you, but they don't care that you're not coming for this specific trip.
Totally agree. I don't even know why people visit New York.
Well, I know why. I mean,
you got to live here. If you don't, you can't visit New York.
Oh,
you got to live in New York.
This is an
Otherwise, you don't appreciate it.
What
you just hit it. What do you do? Oh, tell me, what do you do in 3 days visiting New York? Take a fast walk through Central Park. Go to some restaurant that someone recommended that's really sceney. Go to some bar. Like, go to the Statue of Liberty. What are you going to do?
Go to Tao.
Yeah, go to Tao, exactly. Have a group dinner at Tao with some guy who's like, I got this, don't worry. I got the whole thing. We didn't ask you to pay.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Andy, what an interesting New Yorker's perspective.
Yeah, you got to live here. You can't visit.
Okay, so as the person who's not from New York, who visited New York before I ever lived here, I don't know if that's necessarily true. There's a lot to see.
I went too far with that, but I will say this.
There's nothing like living in New York.
There's nothing like living in New York. But I will say this. What's her name?
Confused.
Confused. You need to be more of an asshole.
Okay, how so?
Yeah, you're not an asshole enough.
Wait, and in what way should she be more of an asshole?
The fact that she's writing in this question to me says that she needs to be more of an asshole in her life.
Okay.
Yeah, she's too sensitive about other people's needs. She's too worried that people are going to care about the things she's doing that are going to somehow affect them negatively.
She thinks that people care about what she's doing more than they actually
just do what you do.
Most people don't really care. Honestly.
You clearly are a very good friend.
Yes.
You're doing enough.
She's such a good friend that she connected these two friends with each other because she thought they would get along, and now they're friends. And she didn't once mention feeling left out.
No, that's what I thought the question was going to be.
Me too.
It's like, now they're doing stuff without me and I'm pissed off. That's what I thought was coming.
No.
But instead, she's worried that she wants to go on a nice, relaxing vacation with her partner and not go to New York City. Oh my gosh. You really need to harden up.
Oh.
Confused? Become more of an asshole.
Okay. All right. Confused. I think we've made it clear how we feel. And New York, you visit another time.
Yeah. New York is always going to be here.
This is a no-brainer.
Always going to be here, despite what people said a few years ago. Remember when they said New York was finished?
Yeah.
How
New York is
hilarious
dead.
was that?
I mean, didn't Jerry Seinfeld
he came
come after?
so hard at them.
Yeah.
They wrote a whole New Yorker, I think
it was a comedian too.
It was Jerry Seinfeld. Oh, it was another comedian had wrote that some article about how New York City is finished.
Yes.
And then Jerry Seinfeld was like,
who was right?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's the most myopic thing. A lot of people were saying that. New York City's dead.
People
kept
all
telling
wrong.
me, like, oh, it's over. Everyone's leaving.
New York is now more alive than I want it to be.
And more expensive than it's ever been.
Yeah, I'm like over it. Like I wish it went back to pre-pandemic.
I wish it was over. There's nothing I want more for New York City to be over. So I can go to a museum without having to be like run over by like 18 kids.
All right.
You know how many times I've been run over by a stroller?
On your foot.
On my foot. I've literally been run over by a stroller like more times than I'd like to count.
I know, yeah.
On these weekends.
Totally.
And I'm not saying nothing against kids. I'm just saying there are so many goddamn people in this city.
It's at the point where I avoid entire neighborhoods on certain days.
Yeah.
Literally, I'm like, the West Village on a Saturday, I'm good.
That's the thing. We don't even leave the house often. We're just like, no, I'm not doing it. It's safe for here.
Yes. Okay. Does that sound relaxing? Confused?
Yeah.
Don't be confused.
The earth is getting hotter for you. Cozy Earth to the rescue. Wait.
Cozy Earth is to the rescue, Angie, with their cooling viscose from bamboo bed sheets. I mean, temperature regulating. This is something that you're not going to get in your everyday sheet.
And I know because I'm a bed sweater.
Yes.
As opposed to a bed wetter.
No, not a bed
But
wetter.
I do end up wetting the bed just with sweat instead of urine.
And even though it's not urine, over time, the sweat does yellow.
Actually, sweat does have urea in it. So it eventually smells like urine.
Are you serious?
Looks like urine, smells like urine. The fact of the matter is sweat is basically poor man's urine.
So Cozy Earth bed sheets. Cozy Earth, by the way, has an array of wonderful products, many of which are made from viscose from bamboo. They have harnessed the power of bamboo and they just have this fabric down to a science. It is so good. But their bed sheets are really their hero product. I love our bed sheets all year round. But let me tell you, when it comes to this time of year where we're hot, I mean, we're in a heat wave right now and it's in the middle of the night. I am so happy I have Cozy Earth because their sheets are somehow cooling. Like you really don't sweat at night. And it used to be a huge problem.
All the time. And also it's selling Cozy short by just talking about the fact that they're cooling. They also feel delectable.
It's so true. Their fabric is like silky soft. Like it's super soft, but also silky. It's somehow both, but it doesn't look too silky. And it only gets better with age. Like every time we wash it gets softer and softer. And plus 100-night sleep trial.
And speaking of sleeping on it for many nights, I have ripped every single sheet I've slept in.
With your toenails.
With my sharp toenails. And I cannot rip this sheet.
No.
It won't be ripped.
We've already had these sheets longer than we've had any of the previous sheets that you have at some point ripped with your toenails, which were all cotton, by the way.
I have to learn how to cut my toenails better. It's not that I don't cut them. I cut them wrong. I cut them so that they become knives. So remember to go to cozyearth.com/Shandy to get 30% off using code Shandy.
After you place your order, be sure to let them know we sent you. Select podcast in the survey and Dear Shandy in the drop-down menu that follows.
Again, that's 30% off with code Shandy at cozyearth.com/Shandy.
So Andy, is there anything better than a late night snack? It's honestly one of life's greatest joys.
It really is. Why is it so good?
Why is it that when it's late, you're like, ooh, I could go for a little something, something?
You know what it is? It's probably our inner child.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's like, wow, we're an adult. We can do whatever we want.
Yeah.
Let's have goodies late at night. That's
Yeah.
something we couldn't do as a kid.
Let's have hot cocoa right before bed.
Oh, come on. You can't do that.
Well, maybe you can. Before you couldn't, but now with Beam Dream Powder, you really can be an adult. And have hot cocoa right before bed. This is one of those brilliant products that they had a great idea and they followed through. And talk about good execution.
How'd they not think of this before?
I wish I thought of this. Hot cocoa that helps you sleep.
It not just helps you sleep in like a cheap way. It addresses the 4 stages of sleep.
Yes.
Which are...
Putting it on me.
Yeah, I'm like looking at them right now.
Okay, so yes, stage 1 is onset. Stage 2 is transition and memory. Stage 3 is deep sleep and physical repair. And stage 4 is REM. Wait, REM?
REM.
REM. And so there's L-theanine, reishi, nano-CBD, melatonin, and magnesium. All these ingredients serve different purposes to help support those 4 stages of sleep. And I'm telling you, this is such a way to upgrade your life. You get better sleep when getting something so nice right before bed. And there's no sugar added, by the way.
No sugar, hot cocoa, good sleep. What exactly more do you want?
Yes. That's how spoiled we are today, is that you might hear that and not be like, wow. Wow, I want that in my life.
It's unbelievable, the fact that we live in a time when they sell hot cocoa that scientifically makes you sleep better. The option for good sleep, like thousands of years ago, is just hitting yourself on the head with a pan.
So today, our listeners, the Shandys, get a special deal on Beam's Dream Powder. Their science-backed, healthy hot cocoa for sleep with no added sugar.
In a clinical study, 93% of participants reported Dream helped them get better sleep.
Get up to 40% off Beam's best-selling Dream Powder by going to shopbeam.com/Shandy and entering promo code Shandy at checkout.
That's shopbeam.com/Shandy and use code Shandy for up to 40% off.
Better sleep has never tasted better. All right, this next question is from Kay, as in the letter she wrote with a smiley face. Hi, Shandy. First,
A lot of references in this intro.
First, thank you both for bringing such a genuine, grounded, laugh-filled podcast to the world. Thank you. So nice.
You're welcome.
No, that's not a you're welcome.
No, it's not a you're welcome. No.
Context. I am 30, living just outside of New York City. Longest story short, through a series of unfortunate events that really shook my world, pandemic, lost my grandma, dad diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's and rapidly declining, I have been single, and I mean very single, think celibate, think nunnery, for almost 3 years now. I kept saying when I turned 30 this past January, I would pivot into opening my heart up for fun and joy and love again. And then I was diagnosed with thyroid cancer a few weeks before my birthday. And that has sucked up quite a bit more energy. Ugh, okay, that sucks. Essentially, my question is, when do I know if I am truly just closed off because life has been hard and I don't have the mental/emotional bandwidth to take on dating/someone else's life, or if I'm using it as some sort of excuse and I should be worried? I am finally feeling slightly myself again, whoever she is, after cancer surgery. And although I still don't really feel the burn to open myself up to dating again, should I be intentional and fake it till I make it? Any advice for how to even begin finding that flirty part of myself again? Sincerely, Kay.
Oh, damn. Well, I'm glad the surgery went well.
Yeah.
And I didn't know where this was going.
Yeah, and she somehow managed to even insert some humor in this email.
Yeah.
You know,
she has a good attitude about a lot of things.
Yes.
But I think the issue here is not her attitude about dating, it's her attitude about herself.
I agree.
Yeah. She's got to feel she's a strong woman. She's been through a lot.
Yes.
And she's rolling with it.
For her young age. She's
For her
30.
young age.
The title of the email is 30 and Not So Flirty.
She's got some barnacles on her.
Yes.
And you know, it's just made her a better person.
Oh, I guarantee you she has so much character.
Yeah.
I can already tell.
And she should sell that. She should not sell it. I'm saying people will want to receive that.
Well, she should also
character is there's nothing more, not beauty, wealth, power, success, drive. Nothing trumps character.
I agree. And there is no way she is not full of character. You can tell from this email. And I feel like she should celebrate, like, celebrate what she's the fact, not what she's overcome, but the fact that she's overcome so much, for only being 30 years old. And I think that there is a degree of faking it till you make it in life.
Honestly, in dating, it's mostly faking it till you make it.
Yes.
Until you find the right person.
It's like a combination of faking it till you make it and also just being your truest, weirdest self.
Right.
And
seeing who accepts it.
Yeah, who's into it, in fact. It was funny. I had dinner with several girlfriends last night, and we were talking about, so one of my girlfriends works at a really, really famous brand. Yeah. Like really famous handbag brand.
Yep.
And whenever she tells me work stories, I'm like, oh my God, it's a shit show.
Yeah.
Like she's like, I can't believe when I first started working there, I was like, oh, this brand's so famous. Like everything will be so organized and so put together. And she's like, the whole thing is a disaster. Like everything is hanging on by a thread. And it made me realize that that's how pretty much everything is.
Right.
Like when I'm scrambling to get a podcast episode out in time, or, there's so much going on behind the scenes of everything we're consuming and doing. You sit down at a nice restaurant, you forget that in the kitchen, it's like,
Yeah, unless it's one of those restaurants where you see the whole kitchen, which I always like.
Do you like
to see
that?
I like to see what's going on.
You
know
say
what it is?
you like that, but then when you see them using their bare hands to arrange a salad, you're not into it.
Can I tell you something? I think this is an important topic to discuss. It's not that I want to see what's going on. It's that I know if they're showing it to me, they're confident that it's good. Oh. And I know that if some guy is manhandling my raw vegetables with his fingertips, I know that because they're showing it to me, that guy has washed his hands thoroughly.
That's a very good point. They're making a show of how clean it is.
Yeah, look, I'm touching your food.
Yes.
You think they would, or it's a double bluff.
Anyway, my point being, I think so many of us people and also corporations, restaurants, everyone is to some degree faking it till they make it. Yeah. It's all a facade of like keeping it together. Yeah. You 100% should fake being flirty a little bit, because I think what you surround yourself with and immerse yourself in, and like the mindset that you put upon yourself gradually becomes part of your reality. It's sort of like manifesting. Yeah. Not to get too woo-woo. I'll link out our episode with Roxy Nafusi here, but she talks about this and how the choices you start making start creating the reality that you wanted for yourself.
And also just have a layer of silliness around the whole thing. Don't take it so seriously.
Yeah.
I think it should be fun.
Yeah, which is easy for us to say. She's gone through cancer surgery.
Yeah, but dating she already went through cancer surgery. She bears that, but she's gone through it. She's on the other side.
It's true.
Now enjoy.
Dating is so true. Dating, this is so silly next to what she's been through.
So silly.
Enjoy the silliness of it.
Yeah. Compare this to cancer. This is a joke.
Yeah.
Meet some guy. Yeah. This guy doesn't know what he's doing either.
Yeah.
He's probably nervous and just all thumbs. Just to have fun.
Totally.
Be in control. You're in control. She has character.
Yes. You have character, you're in control. Mm-hmm. Yeah, try to have some levity as much as you can, because it sounds like you have enough heaviness in other arenas of your life. Yes. No one is going to do that for you. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It really is a mindset shift.
And the mindset shift is that you are going to have fun. Mm-hmm. You are not going to do this, but you have to, or you need to get out there, or you need to play the field because, your time is running out. It's like none of that. You are going out with somebody, but you want to have fun.
Totally.
Always treat it like that.
Yeah, it's like in our episode with Matchmaker Maria, the part 2. Oh my God, I'm referencing so many hot topics today.
We've basically done every hot topic you can have.
I'll link that one too. But when she talks about going on a first date, she talks about your mantra that you say to yourself. And one of the things is, I am going to have fun.
That's it.
And meet another human being.
Don't be like, what do you do for work? What kind of family situation you have? What? Fun. Fun.
Only fun.
Those are the 4 things you should do on a date. Sorry, 5. Fun.
No, you did 4.
Oh. But there's 5. There's actually a 5th
5
fun.
funs.
Yeah.
I also have to touch on, there was something she said here. Am I using it as some sort of an excuse? Should I be worried? She talks about if she's being closed off, is she using what she's been through as an excuse? That, what I hear from that and this is what my therapist would say to me, is you are being so hard on yourself.
Yeah.
You know what? I hear someone just beating herself up. It's like, oh, I haven't gotten out there. I haven't been flirty enough. I haven't done the I'm using my hardships as an excuse. I don't even go down that path. Don't even go down that path of like what you're doing and like,
or just don't do it. Don't
use it
do
as an
what you're
excuse.
doing.
And the fact that
Stop.
she's even like thinking, am I using it as an excuse, suggests that she's not using it as an excuse.
Yeah,
the kind of person that asks themselves that question is chances are not doing it.
You know what this is? This is a stop it question.
Okay. Explain the stop it. I love stop it.
No, you must link because I can't butcher it.
Okay.
It's too perfect.
We will link the Bob Newhart stop it in the description below, but we actually reference this all the time. I can't believe it's coming up only in Q&A 51.
Oh, I think it's come up before.
Really?
I must have.
Shandy's, tell us. Are we starting to repeat
That's
ourselves?
good trivia.
Are we starting to repeat
We
ourselves?
should do a trivia night for
we,
Q&As.
we would be the worst at our own trivia, I feel like.
we wouldn't be able to know the answer.
Yeah.
We'd have to get a Shandy to tell us what the answers are and then do the questions.
We're literally asking the Shandys to tell us if we've said something before.
I think we may have. But if we didn't, it doesn't matter.
It's linked below.
If we did, it doesn't matter. All I'm saying is stop it.
Stop even asking herself if she's using it as an excuse. Not stop using it as an excuse. Stop asking yourself if you're doing that.
Yeah, stop doing all the things you're doing and start going out and having a good time. Easy.
That was a very therapist-y answer, Andy.
Yeah, that's it. That's
All right, Kay. Hopefully this helped. I mean, I got to commend you for what you've been through and what you're still going through. And I want you to celebrate that more.
Yeah, you've had a lot of lemons. Now enjoy the lemonade.
Yeah.
Wait,
No, seriously,
does that
enjoy the.
work?
Yeah.
It
She was
works.
given a lot of lemons and she
Now you got to make lemonade? Or no?
enjoy the lemonade. I think now, you
No,
know,
she got through a lemon squeezer, and on the other end of that is lemonade?
you know what she needs to do? She's got through a lemon squeezer. She's got all this lemon juice. Now she's got to add some water and some sugar and
Yes.
ice. The stuff that makes lemon juice, lemonade, that's what you got to start adding to your life.
You know what I think? I think lemonade was one of the first beverages ever created by humans. It's so obvious. Lemons were like the original, like that was the original thing that people used for stuff, right? Lemons have been around since like cavemen. And someone must have been like, well, we have the juice from a lemon and we have water.
And sugar.
Let's have some lemon water.
Sugar is important in this
But
equation.
then you got to make sugar. That's complicated.
need sugar.
When did they start making sugar?
Well, maybe they added honey.
Oh, honey. That's true. You don't have to have sugar. You can have unprocessed, like a natural sugar.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they definitely had honey. I mean, chimpanzees get honey. I've seen them. You ever see a chimp go get honey? It's unbelievable.
I've seen them.
I mean, I've seen it on the television. I haven't seen it in real life. That would be amazing. I mean, I would be talking about that every other Q&A. But they go up and it's amazing. They don't care. There's all these bees flying around. They're getting stung. They just do not care. They're just eating that honey. They're taking in big handfuls.
Oh.
They don't even flinch. Sometimes they'll just brush a couple bees away. They probably get stung 30 times. But that honey is so good that they don't care. My point is that if chimpanzees get honey, those cavemen had honey. And I promise you at some point, some caveman was like, honey and water and lemon good. And they had lemonade. And I think that was the first beverage. What beverage came before lemonade?
Like a prepared beverage.
Yeah. What came? Maybe like an infused tea. Maybe they put some flowers in a water.
Well, tea. It's tea. Tea.
Yeah,
Is that
maybe
not a
tea was
beverage?
first. Maybe
I love
tea.
how I said iced tea first.
I don't know, but yeah, iced. Yeah, they invented ice before they invented iced tea.
All right, Kay, go add some water, ice, and sugar to your life right now. Enjoy.
Yeah.
All right, this next question is from Sarah P. Dear Shandy. Firstly, I have to say thank you for the podcast. I'd consider myself a newer Shandy as I have listened to The Bachelor and Bachelorette recaps for a few seasons now, but I'm finally listening to the other wonderful episodes you put out. Thank you, Sarah P. Yay.
We got another one.
Some background. My grandmother on my father's side owned a 1964 Mustang since my dad and his 4 sisters were kids. A cream 64 and a half with red interior for any car shandies out there. It wasn't close to mint condition, but it wasn't ready for the junkyard either. It easily needed 8 to 10 grand worth of work. As long as I can remember, it wasn't regularly driven, and my grandparents were always asking one of their kids or grandkids if they wanted the car, as it was just sitting in in the garage. Until I graduated college and moved across the country, I wasn't in a financial position to have a place to store the car, so I never took it. In 2020, my grandmother passed away, and since then, my grandfather's health has been declining. After my grandmother's passing, I expressed interest in taking or even buying the car, but none of us really took any steps to make that happen. I still lived across the country, and it wasn't an urgent matter the family was looking to handle. In June of 2023, my aunts sold the car to one of their friends after declining my offer to buy it. None of my aunts or my dad really are car people, so aside from Googling and guessing, nobody really knew what the car was worth. A friend of one of my aunts offered 25 grand. When I was told about this offer, I wrote up an email to everyone stating my offer, which was basically 10,000 in cash and to pay any additional medical bills for my grandpa up to 15,000, totaling 25,000. According to my dad, who thought I shouldn't even have to pay for the car considering my grandmother tried to give it away, said my grandpa has enough money to pay for his medical expenses for years to come. But I was told that his medical expenses were why my aunts wanted the most money they could get, hence us offering to pay for some medical bills. The response that I got through the grapevine was 25 grand is the higher number. Side note, the money we offered isn't small coin to me and my husband, but it was the most we felt wouldn't be totally financially irresponsible. And aside from this specific family car, we are not looking to buy a classic car. So my question is, am I wrong to hold a grudge for this? After all this transpired and the sale went through, the next time I saw these aunts was at my baby shower a few weeks later for our firstborn. Admittedly, if any of this happened before invitations went out, I might not have invited them. But in the celebration of the day, I sort of acted like nothing happened. Now that I think back on the situation, I am really hurt, sad, and have a pit in my stomach thinking that a stranger has my grandmother's car, and I was hoping to restore and keep it in the family. Is it worth bringing up with them? Should I sweep it under the rug or let it go? I appreciate your advice because everyone I've talked to about this has personal interest in the situation, so I'm not sure if I should feel justified in my feelings. Kind regards, Sarah P.
Her aunts suck.
Yeah, I feel that way as well.
Yeah. And I mean, I think generally speaking, there's a lot of situations like this when there's some sort of sentimental, and honestly, the sentimentality of the car isn't so heavy. It's more of just this is a cool thing that's been around for a long time. And these people in the family have a great interest in restoring it and having it and loving it.
Which is worth something.
Worth something.
Yeah.
It's the family. Like, okay, so you can get a few extra bucks from some stranger to toss this car out?
Yeah.
That is weak, weak.
And the excuse they're using is the medical bills. So she offers to help with medical bills as part of her payment.
That's not enough.
And they
don't need it.
Yeah, this is really painful. It's painful too because 25 grand, it's like, yeah, it's a lot of money, but I think for the sentimental value of this, it's kind of heartbreaking.
Yeah.
That it goes away. Like the money, you sort of lose, money is money. It doesn't have emotional value, but the thing that you got the money for is gone forever.
Yeah. There's value too in keeping something like this in the family just because it's a relic.
I agree.
It's like, look, this is something that's been passed through. Even if no one has great sentimental attachment, it becomes its own sentimental value through the generations.
Yeah, it's an heirloom.
It could be around for another 200 years. You don't even know.
Yeah.
I mean, this is it's such garbage.
It depends on who you talk to too, because we're talking about it like, oh, it could be this family heirloom, what could have been, blah blah blah. But there are families out there that are like, okay, how much do you think we can get for grandma's piano?
Yeah, if no one wants it in the family.
What do we tell Sarah P to do? Does she hold on to the grudge?
No, I think she should approach them with it. I think
yes, hold on to the grudge.
Oh yeah, the grudge is important. They should pay for what they did.
We're past grudge point, moving into vengeance mode.
No, the vengeance is the fact that the grudge exists. The fact that they're going to have to deal with this again. The fact that she's going to approach them and be like, I'm not happy about what happened. Why did you do that?
So you think she should confront them?
I think so. I think they deserve it.
And say,
why did you do this thing with the car? Like I wanted that car. I'm just curious. What was your motivation?
Yeah, like
there?
this really hurt me. Like I was really wanting to carry on my grandparents' car. It's interesting. Sometimes there's like a hierarchy she's a grandchild. So I guess she's like beneath the aunts and her father and in this. But it's like they're not taking her seriously.
Yeah. They should take her more
she's
seriously.
An adult.
Like, a young member of our family wants to take on this car and make it beautiful again, and she shows great interest. Why wouldn't they give it to her? So they take a tiny loss financially?
But they're close enough to come to her baby shower. This is odd.
It's a weak move.
Yeah. Okay, so we're both leaning into the grudge.
Yeah. Hold that grudge.
I don't know how enlightened this advice is.
No, but sometimes, you know what? Sometimes you got to go the low road.
I see myself in the sort of, I've talked about esprit d'escalier before. L'esprit d'escalier, where you remember later on, well, not remember, but you think later on of something you wish you had said in the moment. Yeah. And that's what she's having about her baby shower. She's like, I acted like everything was fine, but this is still gnawing at me. I relate to that so deeply. And then you wonder if too much time has passed and you acted like everything was fine. Maybe you're the one being unreasonable. But I guess Sarah P., this is our way of saying we would also be very bothered by this.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I would have the balls to confront my aunts about something like this.
I don't know if I would either, but I know the right thing to do in this situation is to confront, because when someone walks all over you, if you don't say, hey, you just walked all over me, I don't like that, they're going to probably walk all over you again.
Yeah.
Because they think it's okay. And I think that the aunts need to be taught a little bit of a lesson here, that they did not show a good degree of care for their family.
Yeah.
And that's not cool.
It also, if you think about it, wasn't totally theirs to sell.
Yeah, they just, who gave them the right to sell this?
Yes. And they didn't even give her a chance to match it. If let's say it was just about the money, they just sort of went and sold it.
Honestly, in the end, you know what I think should have happened is she should have gotten it for free.
Yes, she even said she'd been offered it for free.
The fact that she lost a bidding war over it.
Yeah.
And she didn't even lose the war. She actually they disregarded her bid.
Oh my God.
This is bullshit.
It is bullshit.
I'm not happy about this.
Yeah.
I want those aunts to be confronted. As a matter of fact, because I'm too much of a coward to confront my aunts in a situation like this, I want to live vicariously through your confrontation.
Yeah, same Sarah P. I also don't know if I would have the balls. But then again, I've never been in this specific situation. And being the person I am today, I think 15 years ago, I would not have had the balls. Did she say how old she is? She didn't say how old she is.
It'd be funny if she's 12. Then I understand.
I mean, she's old enough to be married and have a child.
She's old. Her age is irrelevant.
Let's say she's 30.
Who cares?
For me at 20, I would not have the balls to do this. 30, I don't know if I would, but let me tell you, today, if this happened to me, I think I would have the balls.
I would never have the balls to do this. No age.
Look, nothing is going to happen now. It's not like she's going to chase down the stranger and buy it back, although could she?
The ultimate contrition here on the part of the aunts would be to tell the stranger, hey, listen, we screwed up. Our niece really wanted that car and there was a miscommunication. And it would mean a lot to us if you allowed us to buy it back for $28,000.
Oh, but the person was a friend of one of the aunts. They're going to really make them give them 28 back.
All right, 25. So say we'll pay you 23 for it. There's a broker fee. No, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Say, can we have the car back? We made a mistake and it's screwing up. It's causing a rift in our family.
Yeah.
And if you say, no, we understand. Obviously, we screwed up here.
Yeah.
We get it. But if you don't mind, we would love it. And if you say no, it's okay. But it would mean a lot to us.
Yeah.
I think they should have to go through that discomfort because of the shitty move they did on their niece.
Agreed. I agree. Maybe I'm being too idealistic, but I this grudge speaks to me. Sarah P., you are not in the wrong. I think at the very least, you need to let this out.
Yeah.
Whether or not it has the result you want, it will feel good. It'll feel right to get it out. It's like the pressure is building. She needs a little pinhole for the air to escape.
Yes.
Because right now, her aunts don't even know how upset she is.
Oh, I agree.
That's so wrong. There's one thing about rising above it. Okay, I get rising above it. But in this case, rising above something that the other person doesn't even know is a thing is, I'm sorry, that's Jesus Christ level.
Jesus Christ. There's a time and a place for what would Jesus do.
Yeah.
And this is not one of them. And honestly, even Jesus may not have invited these aunts to the Last Supper.
Okay. All right, Sarah P., good luck. I think you both need it and don't need it because I think you just have to speak your mind.
You know what? Go get that car. Go get that car.
Sarah P,
This
go-
isn't over.
Yeah.
Get that car.
Oh my God, I love that.
Yeah.
I agree. Sarah P, go get that car. And then we hear rain coming down now. This
Yeah.
feels like I'm feeling a moment.
Yeah.
I'm excited for her. I want her to get that car back.
Yeah, get that car. Go get your car.
Sarah P, please give us an update. We are extremely invested in you getting this car back.
If you get that car back, I will sing a song about someone getting back their 1964 Mustang, specially written for you, on the Q&A after you update us on getting the car back.
Oh. And I'm sure the Shandys would be invested in this. So let's all rally.
And I'll put
behind-
work behind it. It won't be like an on-the-spot song.
Yeah.
I'm going to actually sit down with a guitar and a paper and pencil, and I'm going to make a real song for you.
Okay. All right.
So
This
get
won't
that
be an
car.
on-the-spot jingle for an ad.
No, this is not. No, this is going to be a real song.
Okay.
It's going to be a hit.
Sarah P, the Shandys are behind you. We're invested. Let us know what happens. Let us know how we can help.
What's funny is by the time this Q&A comes out, she probably will lost interest and won't even listen to it.
My fear is that the person who bought the car has already put a lot of money into it. And so now it's worth a different amount.
It's already got a new engine.
Yeah, that's my fear. But let's hope that's not what has happened
If
here.
that's the case, definitely the offer is off for
At
the
the
song.
very... At any rate, the ants should know. They should be told.
Yes. Disciplined.
They should be disciplined.
An ant discipline.
They didn't take their niece seriously. They're like, oh, she's just our niece.
Yeah, nieces matter.
They chose money.
They chose money.
And I also wonder how much Sarah P really voices what she wants.
Well, this is the beginning.
This is the beginning.
This is the beginning of Sarah P voicing
yes.
what she wants.
Yes. I feel like we sided with the question askers a lot today when in the, other times we don't really.
Yeah, well, we're unbiased.
We are.
Yeah.
I'd like to think so. All right. That's a wrap, Andy, for this Q&A. If you enjoyed what you heard today.
They waited this long.
Oh, they need the reward for sticking around to the end. We're talking about you, Shandys, like you're not here. We call Ruby the Kraken. Ruby, it's time to be seen by your adoring fans. Okay, ready? Okay. If you enjoyed what you heard today, you know what we will ask of you, and that is to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, follow us on Instagram, and
TikTok.
leave us Apple and
Spotify.
podcast ratings and reviews. Tell your friends and generally do all the things you do to support a podcast you enjoy. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on Dear Shandy. Bye-bye. Dear Shandy.
Who's a good girl? Oh.
Oh.
Your boo-boo. Teacher boo-boo.